on to all the sports? This is Larry Patterson coming to you for GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports live here on the GTS, and it's a Game Time Sports Network. And today we're featuring the Seattle Seahawks. We're closing in on the 32 teams in 32 days. Well past it, but had football to watch yesterday. So we'll just keep going on until we finish up. Seattle, this team started out 5-0 last year, with a few losses mixed in there to Arizona, Buffalo as well, the Rams as well. They finished the season on a 12-4 note, clinching a wild card berth against the Rams, losing to the Rams in a game where Seattle's offense just could not produce anything. And the Rams defense was just all over the place. The good thing about Seattle's defense was they kept them in the game. So, but 30-20, that was the end of their season right there. In the past game, well, actually, now let's go key departures. Key departures for this team: Carlos Hyde, who went to the Jaguars; Greg Olsen, whom I think Greg Olsen retired. David Moore, whom signed with the Panthers, but I'm not sure if he's with a team right now. Jacob Hollister, who also went to Jacksonville. KJ Wright just signed with the Raiders. Shaquille Griffin went to Jacksonville. Seemed like everything from Seattle to Jacksonville. Quentin Dunbar and Jerron Reed are some of your key departures. Jerron Reed went to Kansas City, and that's a nice little good fit for him. Key additions for the team: Gerald Everett, a nice depth tight end, coming from over at I think he was in LA last year. Might was somewhere else. Gabe Jackson, who they traded for, much needed. Kerry Hyder Jr., a much needed interior pass rusher they got from San Francisco. Sidney Jones, who was Jacksonville's best corner basically last year. A cornerback who stayed injured during his career. For I think he's stepping into year 4. But I think he was injured like his first 2 years. He just started to come around. So, hoping he can stay healthy. And Blessing Austin, who came over from the Jets. Those are your key additions and your key departures. As far as offense, this team was ranked 16, with 3,949 yards of offense producing. In the run, they ranked 12th, putting them 1,971 yards. On third downs, they were ranked 20th. On fourth downs, they were ranked 15th. And in the red zone, they were ranked 4th. But you got to get to the red zone. And this team looked like early on they was headed to big heights. Played well throughout the season, but you just ran into the Rams in the playoffs. Starting with the offense, we are going to go Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson, 7-time Pro Bowler. 4 4,000-yard seasons by Russell Wilson. And last year he posted he was 384 for 558, throwing for 4,212 yards, 14 touchdowns. He was 68%. He had 13 interceptions that he threw. I think he threw 40 touchdowns. So that was a career high for Russell Wilson in that department. And another feat that I want to point out is he's been sacked a lot since he's been in the league. 2012, he was sacked 33 times. In 2013, he was sacked 44 times. 14, he was sacked 42 times. In 15, he was sacked 45 times. In 2016, he was sacked 41 times. 2017, 43 times. 2018, 51 times. In 2019, 48. In 2020, 47. That is a insurmountable amount of blows that this guy has taken over the years, and you would think that Seattle over the years they would try to hit that position really hard, but and not to say that they're not hitting it hard, but when you're going after tier 2 and 3 offensive linemen, it's just not getting it done. You need real high profile offensive linemen on that line, especially for Russell Wilson. I mean, guys always he's always running for his life. Seems like it. So with Gabe Jackson coming over, hopefully that'll help out. And you still have Dwayne Brown. We'll get to them in a minute, but yeah. Then Geno Smith going to his 9th year. Jake Luton, who started a couple games last year for Jacksonville, he's stepping into year number 2. Chris Carson stepping into year number 5, I do believe. Year number 5, 2018. He posted 1,151 yards, 9 touchdowns. He also did work through the air, not that much, but 20 catches, 163 yards. In 2019, 1,230 yards and 7 touchdowns, 266 yards in the air, along with 2 touchdowns. And in 2020, 681 yards. He only played 12 games. He had 5 touchdowns. He also had 287 yards and 4 touchdowns through the air. So hopefully Chris Carson is healthy this year. Through the past few years, he's only missed one. He missed 1 game in 2019. He missed 2 games in 2018. So you can't really call him an injury bug, but it just seems like in that little bit of time, like, damn, man, my bro, he constantly injured. But yeah, hopefully he will have a big season this year. You also got guys like Alex Collins, who played a former Raven, who played 3 games last year. He started 1, stepping into his 4th year. DJ Dallas, 2nd-year player. He had 20 targets, 17 catches, 111 yards and a touchdown. Also 34 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Played 12 games, started 2. Josh Johnson, who's a rookie, but Travis Homer, going into year number 3 in 2020, he had 25 carries, 88 yards. He had 2019, he had 18 carries, 114 yards. So that's another piece that they can use just in case, one of those guys go out. You also got Rashad Penny, who's been in the league 4 years. He had 370 yards in 2019, and he had 340. He had 34 last year. He was mostly hurt of 11 carries. Nick Bellore, who's the 11-year fullback. At the wide receiver position, you got DK Metcalf, 2019, had 100 targets, 58 catches, 900 yards. He had 7 drops that year and 3 touchdowns. And he had 8 drops last year, 129 targets, 83 catches, 1,303 yards and 10 touchdowns. So he had a big year last year. Look for him to have an even bigger year this year. Tyler Lockett, another nice, smooth. I like the way he runs, man. He's quick, he's fast, man. He just seems like he gets to his spot pretty quickly and smooth. 2018, he had 70 targets, 57 catches, 10 touchdowns. He had 965 yards. 2019, 110 targets, 82 catches. I think he had 3 touchdowns and 1,057 yards. And in 2020, he had 132 targets, 100 catches, 1,054 yards, and 10 touchdowns. My bad. He had 8 touchdowns in 2019. So I'm sorry. But he's been proven to be a real valuable target. Hopefully those guys will stay healthy. You got Penny Hart, who's going into his 2nd year. Aaron Fuller, Cade Johnson, who's a rookie. Freddie Swain, who had 21 targets, 13 catches, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Cody Thompson, and John Sura, who only had 11 snap counts, but he made the team and he's there. So we'll see if he can be somewhat of maybe a piece on special teams, or he could maybe step his role up a little bit. And then they also drafted Dwayne Elskridge out of Western Michigan. He only played 6 games last year, 33 catches, 768 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So that's what they spent one of their 3 draft picks on. At the tight end spot, Will Dissly stepping into year number 4. He had a 71 pass block grade, a 66 run block grade, according to PFF. Played 6 games in 2019. He had 27 targets, 23 catches, 262 yards, 4 touchdowns. 2020, he played 16 games. He started 12, 29 targets, 24 catches, 251 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, at the tight end position, it doesn't always have to be Travis Kelce-like, but some of those guys can produce as well. Gerald Everett, who had a career high 62 targets, 41 catches, and 417 yards last year, and 1 touchdown. He played 16 games. He started 7. So he's one of those. He's a 5th-year vet, going to his 5th year. He's one of those guys that can really, when presented opportunities, he does take advantage of them. Tyler Mabry, Kobe Parkinson, going into year number 2, he had a 75 pass block grade and a 56 run block grade, according to PFF. Only 2 receptions for 16 yards last year. So Mark Vital, who's a rookie. And at the offensive line position, Kyle Fuller going into year number 3. Ethan Pocket, who was ranked 26 out of 36 centers. He had a 57 pass block grade and a 59 run block grade. Phil Haynes going into year number 3. Dakota Shepley, Gabe Jackson, who was ranked 40th out of 80 guards. He's stepping into year number 8 with a 47 pass block grade, 83 run block grade. A 69 pass block grade and a 58 run block grade. You also got Pierre Oliver Lestage, Damian Lewis, who was ranked 13th among 80 guards. He had a 47 pass block grade and an 83 run block grade. And Jordan Simmons stepping into year number 4. Dwayne Brown, who's ranked 5th out of 79 tackles, 84 pass block grade, 81 run block grade, stepping into year number 14. Remember, he came over from Houston. He's still doing it at his age and at his range of his career. Jake Curran, who's a rookie, Greg Ellen, who's a rookie, and Stone Forsythe, who's a rookie. Jamarco Jones, stepping into his 4th year, had a 51 pass block grade, a 67 run block grade. Cedric Obuhi, 59 pass block grade, 69 run block grade, and Brandon Shell, who had a 78 pass block and a 63 run. He was ranked 38th out of 79 tackles. So that concludes your offense. Stepping over to the defensive side of the ball, and this defense really couldn't stop anybody, especially in the pass. In the run, they were pretty effective. I think that they're still going to be effective as far as their run defense. Their run defense was ranked 5th, only giving up 1,529 yards. On the pass defense, they were ranked 31st, giving up 4,060 yards. That is pretty bad. On 3rd downs, they were ranked 27th. On 4th downs, they were ranked 7th. And in the red zone, they were ranked 19th. And another stat for this defense, they had 14 interceptions as a team. They were ranked 11th for most yards, 2nd most in passing yards allowed. They were also the 4th most blitzing team, and they were 7th in most sacks. So the pass rush isn't Legion of Boom. That defense, I know it's 2 different positions, but in those years when you had the Legion of Boom, but you also had the Michael Bennett's and up front getting to the pass rushes, like those days are not there no more. So you got a bunch of no-name guys up there. And this year, in the 4-3 defense, they relying on LJ Collier stepping into his 3rd year. He had 17 pressures last year, 22 tackles, 3 sacks. Carlos Dunlap, who came over mid-season in the trade from Cincinnati. He had 6 sacks in 2020, 13 and a half sacks in 2015. That was his best year. 18 pressures and 32 tackles last year. So hopefully they'll bring more of that. Hopefully everybody can stay healthy also, because this team has kind of been hammered by injuries and just relying on second string guys to kind of throw into this defense. Rasheem Green, who had 12 pressures last year, 2 sacks, 10 tackles. He played 10 games. Kerry Hyder, who coming over from San Francisco, he played 16 games. He started 14, 49 tackles, stepping into his 6th year, 8.5 sacks last year. So that's what kind of got him, somewhere else. San Francisco didn't want to sign him back. Or they might have did. He just felt it was better to go to Seattle. 32 pressures. Benson Mayawa, 22 pressures, 11 blitzes. He played 13 games. He started 9, 24 tackles, and 6 sacks. And Alden Robinson, who played 14 games last year, he started 1. Going into year number 2, he had 4 sacks, 22 tackles, 11 pressures, and 1 forced fumble. So you can rely on guys like that. Darrell Taylor, who is also a linebacker. Miles Adams, Poona Ford, who played 16 games last year, 14 pressures, 40 tackles, and 2 sacks. One of those pieces to plug up that middle. Gerard Hewitt, who's a rookie. Brian Moan, a second-year player. And that rounds out your defensive line. Oh, Al Woods also, but he didn't play last year. Cody Barton in your linebacker spot, played 16 games. He started 2. He had 35 tackles. Then going into his 3rd year, Jordan Brooks, who was last year's first-round pick. I think he came late in the late rounds. He had 57 tackles last year. He played 6 games, though. When you get 57 tackles in 6 games, that's pretty good. Hopefully this year he can stay healthy, play more. Ben Burr-Kirven going into year number 3. Aaron Donkor, who's a rookie. John Radigan, who's also a rookie, and then Bobby Wagner stepping into his 10th year. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro. Wagner, from 2012, he's had 100 tackles in each of the seasons that he's played. In 2018, he had 41 blitzes. In 2019, he had 71 blitzes. And last year, he had 100 blitzes. So that's amazing by Bobby Wagner. I'm pretty sure he's still ranked as a 99 in the 99 club in Madden. So definitely one of the quarterbacks of the defense. Well, the quarterback of the defense. Well, definitely one of the leaders. But that's your linebacker room. In the cornerback room, which I think is probably one of the weakest spots. You got pass rush, and then you got the back end. And that begins with Sidney Jones, who coming over from Jacksonville. And he played in Philly also, but he played 1 game in 2017, 2018. He played 9. He started 4. In 2019, he played 12. He started 4. And then last year, he played 9 games. He started 6. He had 2 interceptions in the last 2 years, in 2020 and 2019. Pat downs, 2 in 2018, 8 in 2019, and 9 in 2020. And he's in there on the tackles, 25 tackles, 23 and 26, 2018, 19, and 20. He's also got a coverage percentage of 61 in 2018, targeted 42 times, completions of 26 in 2019, targeted 31 times, completed against 16. That was a 51%, and that was in 2019. And in 2020, he was targeted 38 times, 22 times completed against 57%. So he's had his fair share, but he's more than likely the best corner that they have at this moment. And he's been having an injury history also. So hopefully that room can stay as healthy. That room has always kind of been nicked up. The whole team's kind of been nicked up. But on the offensive side of the ball, They've been pretty stoked, pretty stout. Um, Trey Brown, who had 3 interceptions in 2020, he's a rookie. Michael Jackson Sr. Going to his second year. Sidney Jones, as I mentioned, he also had a 71 coverage grade, so that's pretty decent. Blessing Austin, who had a 47 coverage grade last season in New York, um, ranked 96 out of 121 corners. DJ Reed, who had a 71 coverage grade, ranked 14th out of 121 corners. Um, he's going to his third year. John Reed, who had a 56 coverage grade, stepping into year number 2. He's coming over from Houston. And in your safety room, Jamal Adams, pretty much, I think he's the highest paid safety in the league. I think he got paid this year. But he had a 52 coverage grade last year, and he's often it seems like he's often injured. But when he's in. I think 1 year or both years that I can remember, the Jets didn't really have a pass rush. Well, Jamal Adams was that pass rusher, and he led the team in sacks, pressures. Like there's just the ultimate box safety that you want and that you need on your team. The coverage skills are trash, but I'm not gonna say it might get better, but I mean, when you're limited in pass rushing, and this is your best pass rusher, hey, I guess you gotta pay the man. But he's stepping into year number 4, ranked 53rd out of 94 safeties. Definitely one of my favorite box safeties. Definitely a top 5 box safety. Hugo Amadi, who had a 67 coverage grade, he stepping into year number 3. Marquise Blair stepping into year number 3. Trey Flowers, who they had listed as a safety, but he's actually a corner. But he had 3 interceptions in 2019. He was ranked 86 out of 121 corners. So you see what I'm saying about the cornerback room. It's not sexy. Like, nobody's really scared of him. And I think that this year it's going to be the same way. I think that you're gonna beat them. You may beat Seattle, but it may be in a dogfight. It may be in a big shootout, because in that pass defense, it is not good. But up front, you're not going to be able to run on them. 47 tackles in 2020 for Trey Flowers. Kadri Diggs, who had a 56 coverage grade. Nigel Warrior, who's stepping into his second year. And then Ryan Neal, who had a 52 coverage grade. Jason Myers is your kicker. Michael Dixon is your punter. They only had 3 draft picks for this team. Only 3. And that was Dwayne Eskridge, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan, Trey Brown, the cornerback out of Oklahoma, and Stone Forsythe, the offensive tackle out of Florida. So all those years of you just giving up your first round picks, and trading picks and things like that, that's kind of where it gets you. 3 draft picks. But I think I expect this team. I see this team taking a step back a little bit. And I'm going to be one of those people that say that I don't see Seattle making the playoffs. And just when it all boils down, when your secondary is pretty weak, and you didn't really get better in the area in the offseason, but you get Sidney Jones, but he's got to prove to stay healthy. So I don't know. I do like the upfront with Poona Ford, plugging up the middle so you can't get any runs on him. So I mean, I like that. But other than that, and the linebackers also. But other than that back end is going to have trouble, and then pass rush also. But I think offensively they'll still be okay. I still think Russell Wilson will still be running for his life. Even if you get Gabe Jackson, Dwayne Brown's there, but I don't know. We'll see. I still don't have this team making the playoffs. First 5 games for this club: at the Colts this Sunday, and they're at home against the Titans, at the Vikings, at the 49ers, and then you're back at home against the Rams. So you close out 5 games. The first 5 games against 2 division opponents, 2 tough division opponents. And we'll be talking about them here pretty soon. So this is Larry Patterson for GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports, live here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. If you have not liked the Facebook page, please do so. Doesn't cost a thing.